guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. For those of you who are new here, my name is Steph, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my tips and tricks on layering. Now, this may seem like a bit of a basic discussion, but if you guys haven't heard, I live in Ontario and it's cold here, and I'm a very cold adverse person. So I've developed some tips over the years that I just wanted to share with you guys in case you have been finding yourself feeling cold, or you wanted to figure out how to improve your comfort in the outdoors, how to layer without feeling bulky, that sort of stuff. So yeah, if you are interested to hear my tips and tricks, and also I will be putting together an outfit with all the layering and stuff, keep on watching. Okay, so I want to first talk to you guys about picking your pieces, materials, that sort of stuff, and then I'll take you into some more tips and tricks after that. But I think the most important thing is having a good autumn-winter wardrobe with the proper materials. As much as I love linen and I love the look of linen and cotton and all of that sort of stuff, no matter how many layers of linen I have on, I'm just never going to be as warm as if I'm wearing a proper knit sweater. So yeah, unfortunately the linen has got to go. When looking at my wardrobe overall, I kind of have four categories. I have my base layers, then secondary layering pieces, and then I have the kind of outer layer, and then I have any accessories. I know these are kind of self-explanatory, but within each category, there's a couple different materials and things that I like differently, so I'm just going to quickly run you guys through that. For my base layers, I think of these as your silk blends, your thermals, heat techs, that sort of stuff. The layer that sits right against your skin that's really going to trap your body heat as a first kind of line of defense against the elements. I personally prefer a Uniqlo heat tech turtleneck. I find that if I cover my neck with something like that, I'm a lot happier, and then just having the added bonus of the heat tech technology keeping my body heat trapped against my skin has made a huge difference. If there's something that you guys take from this section, is if you're not adding a base layer of heat tech or thermals, do it. It doesn't add really any bulk, but it makes a huge noticeable difference. You can also, I did mention silk blends. Silk is kind of a weird one because I think a lot of people don't think about it as being very like thermal retentive, I guess is how I want to, yeah. But I did some research, I've tried it out. I have worn like a silk tank top underneath something, and it does help. It's a more expensive material, so it's definitely a like luxury. It's by no means a necessity, but if you do have it, try it, pop it on, and see if it makes a difference for you. It did for me, but it's not a necessity. I definitely think that a good base of thermals is a necessity, especially when the temperature drops below -10. Then the next category is your secondary layering. I like to think of this as my lighter weight knitwear, the cashmere, merino wool, basic wool sort of category of tops. These you can wear alone with a t-shirt, with heat tech thermals underneath it, stuff like that, but they're just that next layer to kind of further trap your heat, but they don't add a lot more bulk. The final kind of clothing layer is your outerwear. I always like to have this just be my chunky knitwear. In this category, I specifically really like alpaca or yak wools. I think that they are just so good. They're the best that I've found so far, and they really work well. You can of course mix your layers up, like you don't always have to wear a base layer underneath the second layering, or you know, stuff like that. But when it does get really cold, I really recommend you put a base layer, then a second layer, and then the outer layer on, and that's how I've managed to stay really warm. So it's worked for me, hopefully it'll work for you. And then the fourth category is accessories, and kind of by that I just mean good socks, good scarves, good gloves, that sort of thing. In particular, socks are a huge thing for me personally. I find that my feet get really cold, and if my feet and kind of my like arms and upper body are cold, then I'm just miserable for the whole time. So keeping those warm is super important for me. I got a pair of, I think it's alpaca wool socks when I was in Quebec City last year, and oh, they have made the difference. They are so like toasty, they're cozy, and just the best thing of all is when I wear them with my boots are so comfortable because the socks themselves are so spongy and like thick, but they breathe really well, so it's just perfection. My feet are really happy, but they're not too hot, but they're not too cold, you know. And just like kind of that sort of little addition that makes the difference, keeping your feet, you know, the proper temperature, whether you want ski socks or thick socks, you know, that really helps. And keeping your hands and head and neck warm are also super important. So yeah, those are kind of my 4 main categories. And then again, I can't stress this enough. Definitely keep in mind things like your materials. Like if you have a blazer, a linen blazer is not going to keep you very warm. Try a tweed blazer, a corduroy blazer, stuff like that. They will definitely help and keep you warm and will make the difference. So we're actually going to get into putting together an outfit now. So yeah, we're going to start off with a base layer. My base layer is going to be a pair of Uniqlo Heat Tech tights and a Uniqlo thermal. And then I'm going to pop on a skirt. This leather skirt is the Oracle skirt from Aritzia. It's just this like really nice skirt. I have an FYI before you buy. It's not my favorite, but I do love the simple A-line leather skirt. And then on top of my Uniqlo Heat Tech turtleneck, I'm going to be adding this crew neck Lord & Taylor cashmere jumper. So this is going to be my first layered up outfit. I would definitely wear this in October, November. I'm in a skirt, so it's definitely not practical for super, super cold days, but I definitely wear this all the way through till November, December sort of time. October is when I'd be most comfortable, but I suck it up for the later time frame. And then usually I'll just pop on an outer jacket on top of this, whether it is a wool outer jacket or my puffer, just depending on the weather. But yeah, that's kind of the first sort of look that you can see. The second look, I'm just gonna switch my leather skirt for a pair of the Aritzia Melina pants. Adding the tights underneath is really just gonna ramp up the thermal value, thermal capabilities, warmth capabilities of the Melina pants. If it's really cold or if it's really windy, this is something I would definitely opt for, just to add a little bit more warmth to my lower layers. And then I'm gonna switch out my cashmere crew neck for a chunky oversized sweater. I would definitely wear this in late November, December, Christmas market sort of season. It's not super, super cold yet, but I definitely want to be snugly and layered against the elements. And then with this, I would of course pop on a pink coat or a trench puffer. It really, again, just depends on the outside temperatures. And then finally, okay, so we're gonna leave the bottoms the same because these pants that I'm currently wearing, I love how they look, but if it was a lot colder, I would just pop on a pair of thermals on top of it. But to be fair, if it's below -20, I try not to go outside. It's just way too cold. And then I'm just going to leave my base turtleneck on. I'm gonna pop on a cashmere crew neck over top of it. This is the same Lord & Taylor one from my very first outfit. And now I'm gonna add on top a chunky oversized sweater. This is another Group by Babaton sweater, but I got it a couple years ago, so I forget the name, but I will link a similar one down below. And then I will pop on my Aritzia Ghana jacket, and then I would put on a puffer jacket on top of it. And this is kind of the absolute coldest weather sort of look that I will kind of go for. There's still a lot of room to move. It's still really comfortable, but I am really layered up and really snugly. I do want to kind of mention in choosing your pieces and in the sizing, as you work out from your body, you want your base layer to be skin tight, and then each subsequent layer gets a little bit looser, a little bit more airy, and it's the air that is actually trapped between the layers is what's going to keep you warm. So you do want to leave room for that, especially in your arms. And also, if things are too tight, and if, like, let's say your top outer knit layer is your true size and you can't fit anything underneath it, you're gonna be so uncomfortable and kind of feel like the Michelin Man. So it's just really important that as you are layering out, your sizing going out each layer kind of reflects that. So for me, I tend to start my base layers at an extra small. Then I will have my second, you know, the cashmere crew neck, stuff like that. Also as a small, they do just fit a little bit larger usually, so that's okay to stay normal, like my regular size. And then for my my chunky knitwear, I always go oversized for some reason. So I will always get a small, even if it isn't oversized. Sorry, I will always get a medium, even if it is an oversized fit to begin with. I just like sizing up for the length, but also just to ensure that I have the room in the shoulders and my arms so that I can layer up a lot underneath and still be comfortable. That's also a trick with your outerwear. If you guys live somewhere like I do, where you do tend to find yourself putting a lot of heavy layers underneath your puffer jackets and stuff, when you're going to be buying it, wear your thickest sweater possible or a couple layers when you're buying it so that you have the right size to fit all of that underneath. I promise you, if your puffer jacket is a little bit too big when you don't have all of those layers, it is not the end of the world. But if your puffer jacket is too tight when you do have all of those layers, it's just so uncomfortable. So it's definitely better to buy the right size right off the bat. And also, don't be afraid to mix up your outerwear. Different pieces work great layered with different things, and also depending on the temperature outside, you might want to adjust your outerwear for that. Obviously, there's a puffer jacket, which is a good all-rounder, but what I find is if I'm layered up underneath really comfortably, I can get away with a trench coat or a pea coat, something like that, for a lot longer into the season than I normally would if I wasn't as layered. So it's a great way to it's a different way to dress up your pieces, and also it can help you extend the life of some of your jackets as you go throughout the season. So if you want to see more tips and tricks, let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you guys have any video ideas, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to follow me on social media channels. If 3 videos a week isn't enough for you, I post every single day on Instagram and TikTok. I also have a blog, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.